There is something happening in the metals market right now that almost no one is talking about. Silver just had a historic move. It exploded higher. Inventories dropped to multi-year lows. Retail piled in. The narrative became obvious. Supply shortage equals higher prices. That's the narrative. But what if it's not the full story? What if silver going up is actually a problem for the most powerful industrial economies in the entire world? And what if gold is quietly setting up to be the real performer in 2026, while silver gets pinned and punished? Let me lay out the facts. First, let's talk about China. China is the global manufacturing engine. Solar panels, electric vehicles, semiconductors, military electronics, high-end tech components. All of those industries rely heavily on silver. Silver isn't just a precious metal, it's an industrial input. And when silver prices rise, margins get crushed. We saw this clearly in 2025 when silver surged. Chinese solar manufacturers were hit directly because many of them use more silver per panel than the Western producers. Higher silver prices increased production costs dramatically for the Chinese. And that matters because when you are the world's largest and leading exporter of solar and tech hardware, input costs are everything. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In late 2025, silver inventories in the Shanghai Futures Exchange dropped to a roughly 10-year low. And at the same time, China dramatically increased silver exports over 600 metric tons in 1 month, helping relieve pressure in the London markets. So, on one hand, physical inventories were tight, but on the other hand, China was actively moving metal to stabilize markets. That doesn't look like a country that wants silver to run uncontrollably higher to me. It looks like a country managing supply to prevent price spikes. Now, let's add another layer. In 2025, a Chinese billionaire trader built one of the largest net short positions in silver ever seen on the Shanghai Futures Exchange, approximately 450 metric tons. That's not retail speculation. That is strategic positioning. And here's the twist. The same trader was aggressively long on physical gold. He was betting on the spread. Gold up, silver underperforming. That's not random. It's calculated. Now think about the incentives. If silver goes vertical, China's industrial base absorbs higher costs. If gold goes vertical, China benefits. Why? Because China has been accumulating gold reserves for years. Central banks globally have been net buyers of gold for over a decade. Gold strengthens sovereign balance sheets. Silver increases industrial costs. Those are two very different incentives. Now, let's pivot to the United States. In 2025, the US officially designated silver as a critical mineral. That is a major policy shift. Silver is now considered essential for clean energy, electronics, defense systems, and digital infrastructure. What does that tell you? It tells you the US sees silver as strategically important. Now ask yourself one simple question. If silver becomes extremely expensive, what happens to domestic manufacturing, defense procurement, and clean energy rollout? Costs surge, margins shrink, budgets expand, and remember, the US is already sitting on roughly $38 trillion in federal debt. It does not want higher industrial input costs. It does not want energy transitions becoming more expensive. It does not want defense supply chains inflated by metals volatility. So, while retail investors see silver shortages and assume price explosions are inevitable, governments and industrial players see something inherently different, something else. They see a metal that must remain affordable to sustain strategic goals. Now, here's where people push back. They say, but there's a supply deficit. And that's absolutely true. Silver has been in a structural deficit for several years. Industrial demand is outpacing mine supply. Inventories have been declining. Shanghai stocks hit decade lows. London vaults, they tightened. Lease rates spiked. All of that is real. But here's what most people miss. Supply shortages do not automatically mean runaway prices, especially when the largest industrial consumers have every incentive to prevent those runaway prices. When silver spiked in 2025, what happened? A massive short position appeared, exports increased, prices pulled back, and silver corrected sharply after its historic run by almost 50%. That doesn't look like a metal that is being allowed to float freely based purely on supply and demand. That looks like a metal that is deeply integrated into geopolitical and industrial strategy. Now compare that to gold. Gold is not an industrial necessity in the same way. Gold is monetary. Gold strengthens central bank reserves. Gold hedges sovereign debt risk. Gold becomes more attractive as fiscal pressure rises. And let's be honest, with debt levels where they are globally, gold benefits from monetary instability. There has even been discussion in financial circles about revaluing gold reserves to strengthen balance sheets. Not officially, not policy yet, but the conversation exists. And when gold moves higher, it does not destroy manufacturing margins. It does not disrupt solar production. It does not inflate defense budgets. Gold rising is manageable. Silver rising is disruptive. That's the difference. So here's the thesis that nobody wants to consider. Silver may continue to be strategically managed, not because there is no shortage, not because demand isn't strong, but because powerful economies cannot afford for it to run uncontrolled. Meanwhile, gold could quietly be the metal that actually flies, because gold actually helps sovereign balance sheets. Gold rising helps central banks. Gold rising fits within a world of high debt and geopolitical uncertainty. Silver rising too much creates friction. Gold rising creates insulation. Now, I'm not saying silver can't move. It already has, but after a massive move higher, the risk may not be that silver explodes again. The risk might be that silver gets capped while gold continues to climb. And if that spread widens, the 450-ton short bet starts to make a lot more sense. China's industrial need for lower silver prices starts to make more sense. The US critical mineral designation starts to make more sense. The idea that supply deficits guarantee price explosion starts to look overly simplistic, because markets are not just supply and demand. They are incentives. And when you follow incentives, you often see what others miss. So going into 2026, the popular trade may be silver, but the more strategic trade might just be gold. Not because silver's useless, not because shortages are fake, but because the world's largest economies may have far more to gain from gold's strength than from silver's strength. And when incentives align like that, you pay attention. Draw your own conclusions, but don't ignore the incentives. They tell you where the real pressure points are, and right now, those pressure points may just favor gold. Now, if you want me to go more in depth on any of these topics, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because I have an entire series where I dive into each of these topics piece by piece, and I break them all down. And if you're ready to wake up, click the first link in the description, and I will tell you the full picture, because as you probably know, I can only post so much on this platform.